Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Michigan City Park Board meeting of Wednesday, December 1st. If you could please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you. And Shannon, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Latchford?
Here.
Mr. Freeze?
Here.
Mr. Lang?
Here.
Ms. Espar?
Here.
Before we get to the minutes, I just want to pass along our condolences to the Dennis Phillips family. Dennis, as he was president of the Park Department and led through some significant transactions, including a bond issue, Patriot Park, including the site analysis, land acquisition, all the improvements, the senior center, the site and the building. Anyway, he was gritty and tough, and he was a good leader who loved the Park Department and did everything he could to make it a better place. So he'll be sorely missed. The minutes were prepared from our November 3rd, 2021 meeting. If there aren't any corrections or adjustments, do we have a motion to approve?
I would move we accept the minutes as printed.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Any project updates today?
There are none.
All right, old business. We have the presentation of the first draft of the 5-year Washington Park Master Plan.
Thank you. So at the meeting on November 3rd, I did a presentation of the requirements of the plan. Those slides are in here, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them. But if anyone has any questions, feel free at any time to ask me to pause, and I will do that. So this is a 5-year master plan required for the DNR. This allows us to apply for state grant funding, which we've been very successful over the last 10 years or so. So the plan is very important. The first draft I plan on sending in mid-December. It's not due till January 15th. We will get comments back from the DNR, and then we submit a final by April 15th for their review and approval. The required elements of the plan are the introduction, definition of our planning area, our goals of the plan, description of the park board and the park department, an outline of natural features and landscape in our planning area, a report on man-made historical and cultural features in our planning area, social and economic factors, accessibility and universal design. A very important piece is the public participation, from which we created a needs analysis and turned that into a schedule of actions. So these next slides just kind of go through those required elements, basically. Again, please stop me if you have questions. Goals of the plan are important. We want to gather input and then analyze results. We do study national benchmarks with other park departments to see how we compare to those. We're always exploring ways to increase revenue and decrease expenses, and trying to create recreational opportunities and programming without duplicating services that other organizations in our community provide. There's our organizational chart. By the way, I want to mention too, this will be on our website tomorrow. I do have a few copies if anyone in the audience wants these to follow along. We do a complete inventory of all of our facilities and programs. We outline our very important natural features in the area, Lake Michigan, Trail Creek Corridor, the Indiana Dunes National Lake Shore, and our very unique native flora and fauna play a big role in the decision-making for this department as we try to utilize while protecting those natural resources. We go through a complete list of man-made historical and cultural items in Michigan City. We study the census data to kind of get a grip on the demographics that we serve. We go through ADA, accessibility, and universal design. We did have accessibility reports for ADA done in 2012 for every one of our facilities. And we've been pretty successful with upgrades to the senior center, some features at the zoo, and most of our playgrounds, well, about half of our playgrounds. For public participation, I conducted 24 stakeholder interviews. Those are one-on-one sit-down targeted interviews. Our last master plan, we had 13, so we increased our stakeholder interviews by 85%. During this master plan, 626 surveys, both electronic and paper, were returned. That's compared to 495 during our last 5 years, which was an increase of 26%. And a lot of that was just really targeting different demographics, because we saw in the last master plan we were falling short on different ethnic groups, income brackets, things of that nature. So we really focused on that. Public surveys were analyzed by category, and they're all summarized. This is a lot of data, so I'm only going to point out some pertinent facts. As far as age groups, everyone was well represented, with the exception of those under 18. So we need to make more effort to reach out to those younger people through schools, clubs, or other youth organizations. Most people that took the survey did not have children. That can be a little problematic when it comes into the playground world. So we need to make efforts to reach more families. I will note, though, whenever we go out into a neighborhood to do a playground project, we do a lot of, we make a lot of efforts to reach out to the residents in that area. We do public input sessions at the park. We'll do some at park board meetings. So we do make a targeted effort for each project that we do. So we will pick up a lot of feedback there. Residential status, mostly residents, that's what we expected. Most people that reported a disability, 62% of them said that our facilities are currently accessible, but we do need more wheelchair ramps. Especially one at the pier. That came up quite often. A lot of people would like to have ADA access out onto the pier. Most of our respondents reported income above the median, 77%. Again, that's problematic, showing that we're not reaching out to the underserved community, so we need to improve efforts for that. Pardon me. Top 5 facilities used were no surprise, really. Washington Park, Gardena, the beach, the zoo, and Patriot Park were the top 5. Top new facilities that were requested were playgrounds. Mainly they were upgrades, and a lot of requests to make these playgrounds all-inclusive, not just ADA accessible, but all-inclusive. Trails came in second. Reopening the Oasis Splash Park was third. A lot of people would like to see a skating rink, both ice and roller in Michigan City. I do put some explanation in there that we have tried this many, many times in the past, but due to the weather conditions in Michigan City, the last couple of years we put the rink up, we had 0 skatable days. The answer to this, in our opinion, is we have to have a coiled rink. They make coiled rinks that you can transport, you can pack them away, but they're skatable up to 50 degrees. If the city wants an ice rink, that's got to be the route, because we spent many, many, many labor hours with 0 skatable days. So kind of a waste of efforts. And we did try it in several locations. Quite a few people want a community center. At this time, that would require a great amount of funding. So I don't see that happening in 5 years, but it's possible. The top 5 common activities are walking, which again leads to trails, sports. This theme is going to come up throughout this report over and over and over again. We need a full-time recreation director. The park department does not have one. We have very little offerings in the way of sports, events, and programming since we lost that position in 2016. As far as the beach, we had a lot of people saying they love the new beach mats and would like to see those at more locations. So those are for access, but so people know those are also environmentally friendly. They hold the sand down to keep it from blowing and making the dunes bigger behind the homeowners that live in Sheridan Beach. So it's a good environmental practice as well. They're super easy to use. I love them as well. Hiking was number 4, again, leading to trails, whether they're bike, walking, or nature trails. That seems to be the theme this year. Biking, again, leading to trails. Top 5 activities that were requested were more events, whether those are arts in park, fitness activities, game tournaments, movies in the park. Again, leading to a full-time recreation director to facilitate that. We need more sports programming. We need more programming in general, non-sport. Playgrounds came in 4th, again, asking for inclusive amenities. And number 5 was ice skate. As far as communication, overall, the consensus is that we are not doing a very good job communicating with the public. That's not a surprise to me, again, due to shortage in staff. We have no recreation director, which is usually the person that does the marketing because they're doing the programming, which leads to very little communication. We use Facebook, we do press releases, but we're just not getting the word out there, which is going to lead to image that comes in later in the report. So we're quite aware that we're failing at that. We are creating an in-house communication plan to the best of our ability over the next 2 months to try to at least address some of the comments that were made. So opinions, this is really long, just asking people what they're satisfied. Again, this will be available on the website. I don't want to go through every single one. Oops, I'm way behind it there. Hard to see it. So a couple of things I think are important to note. We asked people what the barriers were to using our parks and our facilities. So the top ones were inadequate lighting, not enough parking. Specifically in Washington Park, a lot of people have the idea that residents should be able to park down there, and during events they're not able to because we close so quickly. So additional parking needs to be looked at. Lack of maintenance. This was kind of vague. No one really pointed out lack of maintenance of what. So it's kind of hard to address that. Too few restrooms. A lot of people want restroom facilities at neighborhood facility or neighborhood parks and want them open year round. That would be challenging, but a lot of people have brought that up. A few have transportation problems, and quite a few had safety concerns. All right, moving on to stakeholder interviews. Again, these were one-on-one. I sorted these by how many comments were made by each of the people that I interviewed. Facilities came in first, addressing programming second, funding was third, addressing our staffing levels was fourth, communication again, fifth, creating partnerships sixth, our image, which goes back to communication, events, access, safety, trails, dog facilities, and the environment. Kind of recap that by percentage. So following the Stakeholder and public input, collection of data. The Park Department annually gets on the National Park and Rec website, and they have a database that's for, I think it's over 1,300 parks right now that participated in 2021. We plug all our data in. How many tennis courts do we have? What's our budget? What's our revenue? What's our cost recovery? And it's time consuming, but it's very valuable because we can benchmark now against other park systems that are of our size and kind of compare what are we missing? What are we doing great at? What are they doing great at and why? And we can reach out to these places and get ideas. It is important to understand you can't just use population to benchmark. So a small city like ours in Florida is open year round. So, you know, their stats are going to be totally different. California is going to be different. So I kind of concentrate on the Midwest. So apologize for fighting the cold. So the statistics in this or in the following tables are population densities of 500 to 1,500 per square mile. Michigan City's at 1,395, so pretty comparable. I won't go through all of these, but I do want to point out a few items that really stood out to me. So revenue per capita in Michigan City is about $80. National Park and Rec puts us into a lower quartile, median quartile, upper quartile for comparison. Upper quartile is under 40%. So as far as the revenue that this park generates per capita, we're over double the upper quartile. Oh, my favorite. Thank you. So that's important. We generate a lot of revenue for a park system of our size. The majority of that is Washington Park parking fees and then zoo revenues, which go back to operate the zoo. But that's an important statistic. Park departments aren't set up to actually fund themselves. Taxes have not gone up, but all of our expenses have. So revenue generation is just paramount to the future success of this department. And nationwide, we're doing very well. Our annual operating expenditures are 3.1 million, which is just under the 3.6 median. So we're doing fairly well there. Most parks that we compared to had tax support of 62%. We only have tax support of 41%. So that's pretty low. You know, that additional 20%, if we had that to spend, could definitely speed up these action items. Our non-tax revenues. Very bottom line, non-tax revenues that we generate are just under 2 million, which is in the upper quartile. The median is only 638,000 per year for a city our size. And again, we're at almost $2 million. The rest of it just compares our personnel. We're pretty average as far as our full-time employees are concerned, how many we have and what we pay them. We compare our workload, which is how many parks do we have, how many acres do we oversee. What stood out there is the median is 440 acres and we're at about 700. So we have average personnel of everyone else, but we've got double the parkland that we take care of. So that's kind of a big number that stood out to me. Total number of programs offered. Again, this goes back to not having a recreation director. We list 75, but all but 2 of those are operated under the senior center and the zoo. So again, it's not like we have City Kids Day Camp, we have baseball, but we don't have our art camps anymore. We don't have our summer clinics that we used to have, track and tennis, things of that nature. So that needs to be looked at. And then it goes through facilities. And it just lists bigger facilities, amphitheater, senior center, what you have, again, how many tennis courts do you have, racquetball courts, things of that nature. It doesn't really show anywhere in here that we're lacking facilities for a community of our size. In fact, we have quite a few parks. Most of the departments that we were compared to had over 2,000 residents per park. We only have 1,400, which means we have more parks for our residents. So those are good numbers. And then it just goes through every recreational amenity you could think of: dog parks, golf courses, aquatic centers. Activities will be listed. One of the things that kind of stuck out to me was percentage of agencies offering the following out of school time activities. So STEM programming, these 4 items we don't offer, but most park departments, up to like 50% of them do. So something that maybe we need to be looking into. If you don't know, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math programs, other types of after-school programs, programs for people with disabilities, and specific teen programs, which I think is a real target area that Michigan City needs to be focusing on in the very near future. Teens just need something to do besides being on their devices. So the city kind of needs to figure out, how do we target them? I know when I was a kid, there were dances for teens, there was roller skating, there were organized events, and now it doesn't seem to be like there's much out there other than the sports leagues. So after all this information was collected, we analyzed it. It's been reviewed by the park board, our staff. We prioritized all of these projects into a 5-year action plan and tried to identify funding strategies. Some of these may have seemed like they should have been a higher priority, might have got pushed back a year or two because there is no funding identified. And if we can write a grant for something, it's going to move up. The needs that were analyzed by the state of Indiana, who also does a 5-year master plan, but for the entire state, were very, very similar to ours. So their top goals were: we need more and more varied kinds of trails. We need natural resource-based recreation. We need to address health and wellness. The use of and demand for local parks and rec appears to be growing statewide. Communities are responding to economic and social pressures, and parks and rec are being viewed as economic engines in local communities. Funding's tight, so we need to be able to adapt, innovate. Funding is vital to moving this plan forward. So those were the state. The state's needs that were identified, ours were pretty much the same. Enhance our natural and cultural resources. We have to address funding. Update our facilities and equipment, including ADA, and again, all-inclusive facilities moving forward. We desperately need new programming, which can be fitness-based, youth, sports, environmental. Winter's huge. Everybody wants winter activities. Again, reinstate a full-time rec director. Continue to work on our trails. Address staffing for our actual needs. And then try to begin to implement our Washington Park Master Plan. Needs identified by the survey, we're pretty close to that. Address ADA and facilities. We need new programming. Develop a communication plan, address our staff, and develop trails. So it seems to be from state to stakeholders to survey respondents. Everybody was pretty much on the same page, which is probably the first time I've ever seen it that closely aligned. This is the fourth master plan that I've done. So that was kind of surprising that everyone's on the same page. All right, so the items we just discussed were identified. They were put into 5-year action plan. Different funding sources were identified. Available city funding, Barker Welfare Foundation, Community Development Block Grant, other grant opportunities, the Historical Society, County Welfare Foundation, our operating budget, there's a prosecuting attorney fund, private donations, redevelopment commission, the ZAC grant, the Zoo Endowment Fund, and the Zoo Society are some that we have identified that we're familiar with. We can try to assign 2 different projects on this upcoming list. I do want to point out, during the last master plan, 2017 to 2021, only 42% of that plan was funded. Meaning the rest of those items and projects were rolled into this master plan. Which makes our next 5-year plan over $34 million to complete. So I'm not going to go through every one of these, but this just shows a breakdown of how many projects that we have identified for the future. Again, this presentation and the plan in its entirety as a draft will be available tomorrow on our website, which is emichigancity.com, and then navigate to the Park Department page. It will be up on our website until 4 p.m. on December 14th, and I will be taking public comment, or you can comment to any of our board members or our staff. On the 15th, we have a board meeting, and I would be asking the board to approve the draft with any additional comments that are added, and then we'll be ready to submit to the state of Indiana for review. So sorry I went through that quickly. It's a lot to take in. But again, I have a couple copies if anyone wants to take them tonight. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Shannon. Any questions or comments from the board first?
I just have one comment. This is absolutely amazing. Seriously, I don't know how you do this, but it is how complete, and my hat is off to you. That's just well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with Ken on that. I received 6 phone calls already this week, and I was glad to see it was mentioned here about pickleball courts. And if you follow it, it's really an up-and-coming activity, young and old, but a lot of middle-aged people are picking it up. I was glad to see it was in there.
Yeah, we had a lot of comments on the pickleball, and that's not a really hard or expensive item to facilitate, especially with the amount of land that we already have under our jurisdiction. So we'll definitely be looking into that.
Any comments from the public tonight?
I have a comment, or actually a question. Shannon, on page 31, I'm just not sure what those numbers mean. Where it says performance amphitheater, MC Park 32,075, median 41. Is that size? Is that?
That's
I'm not sure what's in the graph.
so for the performance amphitheater, that's our population.
Okay,
So we have 1 for our entire population. The median has 1 if they have 41,000 people.
okay,
So if
that's
you
clear.
get down to like nature centers usually serve a population of an average of 121,000 people.
All right, that's clear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the public? If you could please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Thank you. And welcome.
Hi, Ellie Hartman, 230 Fogarty Street in Michigan City. I'm kind of new here, And I don't understand why there isn't a recreation director for years.
So the recreation director position was cut in 2016 due to just financial problems the city was having with collecting our property taxes from the state. So we really had to cut back citywide, and that's one of the positions that we lost that we'd like to get back.
So there's no plan to hire someone in the immediate future or near future because we can't afford it?
Well, the way the master plan lays it out is that would be a goal of 2022 is to address this with our park board, the mayor and the city council to see if we can reinstate funding now that the city's finances are healthier.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot was lost during that time period. I think it was about a 7-year struggle. And it wasn't anything the city did. It was just we weren't collecting and something had to go.
You've done a beautiful job
Thank
and
you.
things are looking up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment tonight? All right, seeing none, we hold this over until December 15th?
Yeah.
So we need a motion to table.
I'd make the motion that we table the preliminary 5-year master plan, 2022 to 2026 until our next meeting, which is what, the 15th, until December 15th.
I would second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Any tabled business to address?
No.
Okay. The first item under new business is accept statement of qualifications for the old bandstand preservation project.
So if the board remembers, we sent out a request for qualifications to 6 different architectural and engineering firms that are on the state's approved list for historic preservation. We received 2 back, one from Crumlish and Crumlish Architects of South Bend, Indiana, and one from Kill Architecture and Planning from South Bend, Indiana. We have a scoring system. When we work on projects like this, it's important to note that most of the time, if we're going to build a garage, we ask for proposals and a price to engineer it. When it comes to historic structures, we want to see firms' qualifications. We choose the one that we think is most qualified because if you just go with the lower price, you only have one shot at historical preservation. So it's very important that they know what they're doing. And then after the fact, we negotiate a contract. So we did have 4 scores on the project. They were Ed Shin, myself, the associate city planner, and the director of the old Lighthouse Museum. So we independently scored these and then added up the scores, and Kill Architecture and Planning was the highest score. As far as qualifications, I would recommend to the board tonight that they would accept their statement of qualifications and allow us to begin negotiating the contract, which I would hope to bring back to you at your next meeting.
Thank you, Shannon.
You're welcome.
Any questions or comments? I just want to extend a thank you to everyone, the 4 individuals you mentioned, including yourself and Ed, for taking the time to score those projects, vital in the process. So thank you to them. It was close. Both 2 well-respected firms, and glad that they both bid. Any other questions or comments? And if not, I have a motion to accept the recommendation for Kill Architecture.
I would move that we accept the proposal from Kill Architecture and Planning in South Bend.
I would second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, next up is the agreement between the owner and contractor for the zoo retaining wall.
Yes, this is a project that came up because a retaining wall toppled over at the zoo. We asked two contractors to bid. Their bids were very distant in price between each other. So that forced me to reach out to 4 other companies, and none of the other 4 were able to have the work done until next spring. So I researched the lowest price, which was Bernal's Landscaping, and found out that he was very reputable. Reached out to one of the owners that he worked for, and they spoke very highly of him. So I chose to hire the least priced quote. As a matter of fact, this project was an emergency, and it is complete, and I will show pictures of it in my superintendent's report.
Thank you, Ed. Any questions or comments? So under that emergency order, as Ed mentioned, the contract's already been executed and the work's complete. It's in front of us tonight just for official approval.
I will say that the emergency was because it was a dangerous location in the Cliff area.
Absolutely. That's why that's in place, that measure. So glad you took advantage of it. So do we have a motion to approve the contract between the owner and contractor for the zoo retaining wall?
I so move that we accept the Bernal's Landscaping for $4,800. And the fact that, note that this was an emergency, and that's why this was done with haste.
Second. It was a broken second, but it was a second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion.
Next up is the Harbor County Adventures 2022 proposal for the use of Millennial Plaza.
Just to remind the board, last year we entered into an MOU with Victor Jerry, who's here tonight, of Harbor Country Adventures, to do some programming at Millennium Plaza, as it was an extremely underutilized space. He did a great job. He provided tables and chairs, soda machines, porta pots, hand washing stations, and it was pretty magical when you put a few amenities down there, how many people start showing up to use it. He also hosted 6 free events for our community, magic shows and things like that. He had some ticketed music events that were successful. We had no complaints. It's always a pleasure to work with Mr. Thierry. So this year he is asking to renew the MOU. He would like to put more furniture and amenities down in the plaza, so he's asking the board to lower the payment from $29.75, which he paid last year, to $1,200 this year. And just as reference, when the park department rented the plaza out ourselves, just for weddings, meetings, parties, things at that event, our 10-year average for the year was only $730. 5-year average was $810. So he would be programming the plaza, paying us more than we would get in running it. And just to remind you that the dates that he's not programming it with some type of event, we still have the right to rent that out for weddings. Curious here in the audience. Questions?
Thank you, Shannon. Nice summary. It's a great partnership.
Grateful for the opportunity.
Any questions or comments about the new agreement? Any questions or comments from the public? Not, do I have a motion to approve the Millennial Plaza Harbor County 2020 proposal for Millennial Plaza?
I so move that we accept the Millennium Plasma proposal for 2022.
I would second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
All right, now we have the renewal of the Millennial Plaza MOU for Harbor County Ventures.
So the terms of the MOU have not changed, but because the payment amount did, that's why you approved the proposal first, and now you would just renew. I think there's a 3-year renewal on this that has to be done annually before December 31st.
Very good. Do you have a motion to renew?
I would so move.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, now we have the renewal for the Servicescape agreement for Millennium Plaza.
Again, this is a 3-year agreement, renewable annually. We were satisfied with the services of Servicescape and would ask the board to renew this for 2022, which would be year 2 of 3-year agreement.
Thank you, Shannon.
You're welcome.
Any questions from the board? Comments? Questions from the public? See none, we have a motion to approve.
I would move, we accept, we approve the renewal for landscape maintenance service for 2022.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, now we have a series of resolutions. Resolution number 952, 53, 47, 48, 49. So let me start over here. We've got resolution number 947, 48, 49, 50, 52, and 53.
So resolution 951 has to do with the master plan. It's already drafted. It'll be on your next agenda. That's why they're out of order.
Very good, thank you. So in order to expedite things, I'll read the first one. And then as what happens, this is at year end, we just have to move funds around. There's no additional funds being requested. There's no money left over. We're just moving money between line items to help balance the budget. But we have to go through this process to do that. So like I mentioned, I'll read the first one, the preamble, and then on the other ones, I'll just read the dollar amounts that we're moving, if there's no objections. All right, so resolution number 947, whereas the superintendent of the Park and Rec Department has reported that certain transfer of funds are necessary within the budget of the Michigan City Department of Parks and Recreation because of unanticipated expenses from various accounts, which accounts do not have sufficient funds available for disbursement for said expenses. And whereas funds are available for said purposes in various other accounts which are not expected to be paid from said accounts during the remainder of this budgeted year. And whereas the Michigan City Parks and Recreation Board has determined that said expenses are necessary and that an account transfer should be made in order to meet said expenses. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the following transfer be made from the following named accounts to the following named accounts for the purposes stated herein. All right, the first one, decrease fund 2062, golf fund, $15,722, increase fund 2062, golf fund, contractual $7,000, service charges and fees $7,000, insurance property $1,553, communication telephone $60, miscellaneous merchandise $109. Unless there are concerns or questions, do I have a motion to approve resolution number 947?
I move we accept resolution number 947.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution number 948, decrease fund 2056-504 zoo fund, seasonal salaries $23,200, increase fund 2056-504 zoo fund, repair parts $200, small tools $2,000, water $13,000, sewer $8,000. Unless there are concerns or questions, we have a motion to approve resolution number 948.
I would move we accept resolution number 948.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution number 949, decrease fund 2011, rec non-reverting fund, contractual $623, increase fund 2011, rec non-reverting fund, charges and fees $623. Unless there are an issue or questions, do we have a motion to approve resolution number 949?
I would move we accept resolution 949.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next is resolution number 950, decrease fund 2056505 maintenance fund seasonal wages 72,000. Increase fund 2056505 maintenance fund building material 4,000, contractual 3,000, and repair maintenance building $65,000. Do we have a motion to approve resolution number 950?
Move we accept resolution 950.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
All right, resolution number 952, decrease fund 2056504 zoo fund, vacation buyback $6,984. Pesticides 950, other supplies 2,927. Increase fund 2056504 zoo fund, building maintenance $6,984, electric $3,877. Do you have a motion to approve resolution 952?
I would move we accept resolution number 952.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Right, and finally, resolution number 953, decrease fund 2056502, admin fund contractual, $260. Increase fund 2056504, zoo fund charges and fees, $260. Do you have a motion to approve resolution number 953?
I would move we accept resolution 953.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Any other new business tonight?
No, sir.
Thank you. We will move on to report of officers. Mr. Shin.
Thank you, Mr. Latchford. This evening, I would like to report on the golf course park maintenance research that the park department has done on various parks in other cities, some facilities repair and maintenance. And first of all, Mr. Latchford, would I be out of line if I brought up an emergency demolition portion of a project in the amount of $500? Before you, I gave you a contract or estimate. Would I be out of line to ask if the board could vote on this emergency tree removal for a utilities overhead line to be removed for the cat house exhibit?
You would not be out of line.
Thank you, sir. Here is a estimate in front of you for $500 to remove some trees and some branches so NIPSCO can get to work removing an overhead line so the construction can begin, if all goes well with the bidding process, at the zoo for the cat house exhibit. I ask if the board will approve of this $500 expense.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments from the public? Seeing none, have a motion to approve?
I would move that we accept the emergency removal, the fees of $500 for removal of the tree.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Laura, for reminding me. So, the golf course, the courses are officially closed for the season as of November 25th. The clubhouse will be open for the sale of golf supplies and accessories and golf passes Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Vacation days are being staggered by our director at the golf course, the assistant turf superintendent, and our ace mechanic to ensure productivity in regard to equipment maintenance and leaf cleanup. Our director, Mr. Marshall, has received quotes to complete the important tree removal at the golf courses throughout both golf courses, and this work will begin soon. Park maintenance, our director, Mr. Volz, and his crew has completed and tested the holiday lights in Washington Park and have reported that they have been able to simultaneously begin to remove sand buildup on the Washington Park lots and walks, along with leaf removal throughout the parks. The 2 employees that have kept Patriot Park groomed all season are now assisting with these activities and Patriot Park is closed. Another priority project that our director, Mr. Volz, and our crew took on is the lighting of Franklin Street after the lights were taken down from the trees as they were damaging the trees. From 4th to 9th, the street lamps will be wrapped with lighting for the Snowflake Parade. Next, I would like to show you at the monitors a few slides from our visit. Ms. Eason and Councilperson Don Prisbalinski researched other parks, and this was an interesting park in Valparaiso. Just wanted to show you the structure that they have to let people know that they're entering the park. Within these parks, we find out a lot of things that
That's actually
Mishawaka, I'm sorry,
That's
that's
okay.
Mishawaka, I'm going backwards. This is the park in Mishawaka, and that lets people know they're entering the park, which we thought was a nice structure. And some of the things we notice in these parks are things not to do, and this would probably be this type of flooring material, or it was actually possibly installed improperly. So if we would decide to go with this, we would make sure that the underlying base would be more substantial. So some things we find out are good to imitate from other parks, and some things we find we shouldn't. This park in Mishawaka had very nice pavilions. I thought I'd take a picture of this one to give you an example. We did find that there's Miss Eason. She's working on some of these features at the park here.
It's a dog photo op.
It's a dog photo op.
But we didn't have a dog, so.
It looks like we're having fun, but really this is all work. Ms. Eason is analyzing these this playground equipment because, as she mentioned before, we're looking to use equipment that is all inclusive, and Ms. Eason does find some things that we would want to research further. These are some of the things that this other park has. There is adult gym equipment. We've looked into adult gym equipment because we're getting comments that this would be nice to have in our parks. This is LaPorte Park here, and they also have a open system splash pad in the background there. So with us considering the opening of our splash pad and looking into that, we thought we'd research that. There's some more equipment that Ms. Eason analyzes. Like I said, she's not having fun. She's all work, all business here. Oh, this is interesting right here. If we do go to an open system, there's an on and off switch, so the water doesn't have to run constantly if nobody's using splash pad. We thought this was very interesting. A person could actually turn it on and it goes off by itself in a certain amount of time. Shannon, do you recall what these handprints were? I don't know if I
So the
remember.
handprints were like kids that were participating in building the park. This was in Valparaiso. And then below that are bricks that people purchase to help fund the park, similar to what we do in Millennium Plaza.
Very interesting.
But Valpo had a lot of community buy-in. They have a park foundation, corporate, and I was surprised at the amount of private donations to help fund this park. Can you go back to that?
I will.
Interestingly enough, out of the 4 parks we looked at, one in Mishawaka, one in Valparaiso, 2 in LaPorte, this was the only Braille signage that we found at all, and I thought it was a little odd that it was in the toddler area. So we are looking at Braille signage, but placement of things is extremely important. So most 2 or 3-year-olds are not going to even understand what that meant. So placement's important. But it was a cool panel.
Mm-hmm. Here's a good example of one of the items Shannon Easton mentioned that is important in a park is This park was very nice, but is this the park, Shannon, that had no green space in the middle, which
Yeah.
is important?
Valpo, absolutely no shade, trees, landscaping. It was a very nice park, but there were features that were definitely.
We don't have video. Sorry, if that was a moving video you would have enjoyed.
Super fun.
Yes. So actually Shannon even road tested a lot of the equipment. She's not having fun. She's all business here. Okay, here is the beginning now of the facilities repair. For quite a few months, we've been wanting to get the Guy Foreman Theater fascia fixed, and here is how it looked when it was peeling. We had some complaints about that, so we got on that right away. There is how it looks complete. So the Guy Foreman fascia is complete. And there's the men working on it. There is the beginnings of the new retaining wall that toppled over at the zoo. There is it 25% complete. As you notice in the contract and the specifications, we were going to design this as a 2-terrace. However, having 2 terraces would put the retaining wall too close to the existing building on the right. So we decided to go with 1 terrace at no extra cost, but we added a railing. So the next photo, you'll see the posts. Oh, I'm sorry, there is the gravel inside the rocks to stop the water from pushing the wall over in the future. The last wall didn't have that. There's the wall at 25% complete. There's the wall toppled over. And there's the wall complete with the posts ready for the railing so nobody can fall over that 4-foot retaining wall. They did a good job. That's the wall complete from the other end looking down. And there's the wall complete from the other end. They did a very good job. This one will not fall down. There's the wall complete. There is a sign that shows parallel parking, and those signs were put up by Mr. Volz because we had complaints that cars were parking on the sidewalk by the neighbors. We got phone calls from the neighbors thanking the park department for saving the sidewalk and leaving room for the handicapped on their wheelchairs. And that ends my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Any questions? Comments?
Just one comment. Ed, you had mentioned in one of your photos about adult outdoor exercise equipment. And if you've been to Friendship Botanical Gardens and go for a walk in there next to the children's area, they have a beautiful set of outdoor exercise equipment that runs right along Trail Creek. And I've been on the equipment, and it's really well done. So in the future, if that is a possibility, you might want to just take a look at that sometime. Just go in. They have wonderfully paved pathways there, and one of those will take you right by. But just wanted to add that.
I will be visiting.
You're welcome.
And that is for adults.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any vandalism to report?
Vandalism to report. No vandalism to report. Mr. Volz, did you know anything from this?
Good news, thanks. All right, we'll move into the liaison reports, starting with Plan Commission, Ms. Aspara.
Thank you, Mr. Latchford. The Planning Commission did meet. I was unfortunately unable to attend that meeting, but I will review the minutes when we receive those and report back at our next meeting.
Thank you. Port Authority, Mr. Freeze.
The meeting is next Monday.
Thank you. And Zoological Society, Mr. Lyon.
The Zoological Society has not met.
Thank you. I'll move on to the Attorney's report, Ms. Nierenberg.
Nothing to report, Mr. Latchford.
Thank you. Any Director's reports tonight?
No, sir.
All right, that takes us to Department of Finances. Back to Mr. Lyon.
All right, under claims City claims docket for November the 17th, 2021. Municipal, $64,811.10. Golf petty cash, none. Zoo endowment, $506.18, bringing a total of $65,317.28. This is the claims docket for November the 17th, 2021. I so move that we accept that docket.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under claims docket for December the 1st, 2021, municipal, $16,046.79. Golf petty cash, none. Zoo endowment, $12,820, bringing total claims of $28,866.79. This is the claims docket for December the 1st, 2021. I so move that we accept this docket.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Payroll number 23 for 2021 with a pay date of November the 5th, 2021. A total payroll of $48,909.27. I so move that we meet payroll number 23.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Payroll number 24, 2021. Pay date of November the 19th, 2021. A total payroll of $45,295.43. I so move that we meet payroll number 24.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under gifts and donations, the Rotary Club of Michigan City, a zoo donation for Boo at the Zoo, $300. Florida Exotic Species Preserve Incorporated, zoological purchase of tamarins, this is zoo purchase, $6,200. Fun Express Zoo reimbursed sales tax, $44.41. I so move that we accept these gifts and donations.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under minor transfers, Zoo Fund 2056.504, a decrease in account number 411.014, seasonal wages, $3,500, an increase in account number 411.16, overtime, $3,000, an increase in account number 413.017, vacation bonus, a decrease in account number 437.02, rental equipment, $142, decrease in account number 433.30, printing advertising, $95, and an increase in account number 435.010, electric, $237. I so move that we accept the minor transfers in Zoo Fund 2056.504.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under minor transfers, Recreation Fund 2056.503, a decrease in account number 422.021, household supplies, $139, increase in account number 423.031, small tools, $139. So move that we accept the minor transfers for Recreation Fund 2056.503.
Second?
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Under Administration Fund 2056.502, a decrease in account number 411.014, seasonal salaries, $3,953, increase in account number 413.003, INPRS, $3,453, an increase in account number 411.016, overtime, $500. Lastly, a decrease in account number 422.031, household supplies, $1,000, an increase in account number 421.005, office supplies, $1,000. I so move that we accept the minor transfers in Administration Fund 2056.502.
Second,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under Zoo Endowment, invoices totaling $13,326.18 were paid to Lowe's. Purchase of miscellaneous wood, $435.95. Lowe's. Purchase of miscellaneous wood, $70.23. Deutscher Construction. Tortoise Barn concrete slab, $3,500. Wayne Heating and Air Conditioning, heating/air conditioning units in zoo offices, $9,320. I so move that we accept these invoices totaling $13,326.18 under Zoo Endowment.
second,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Under Board of Works, none at this time. Under credit card charges, none at this time. And that ends the financial report.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any comments from the public tonight?
I have a comment. I saw during the slideshow that Mr. Shin is showing that there is a foundation in Valparaiso that had paid for park things, and I was wondering, I think I heard that we had a foundation at one point, so I'm really interested in trying to get that revived and maybe getting some of our community partners to come help fund some of our park initiatives.
Thank you. We do have a foundation existing in the state of Indiana. The entity exists. It currently does not have a 501(c) status, so that is our challenge now, is to get that status, which isn't difficult, but now with the IRS, I did a couple of work and it took over 2 years from application to approval. But that was during the COVID time too, so we can only hope that we can expedite it. We met with some people yesterday that might be able to help us with expediting it, but
Great, I'd be very interested in that. If you need some help, I could see what I could do.
thank you. Any other public comment tonight? Seeing none, any board comment? All right, then our next meeting will be Wednesday, December 15th, 5 o'clock right here. Have a motion to adjourn?
So move.